We're now almost 2 weeks into the brand new season pass, including Zabu, who has done a great job at kind of molding the meta game in a different way than it was previously and offering us new decks and new archetypes to play that weren't viable before. And many people are still looking for the best Zabu deck out there. And there's still plenty of room to experiment and try in this case, but today I want to showcase something to you that I think is very cool and a little bit different than the majority of Zabu decks I have seen so far. This one is Omega Red Sandman Zabu. This actually comes from DenCCG, another contributor on MarvelSnapZone.com, who recently finished their climb to Infinite with this deck list. They break this one down for us in the tweet that mentions how they got to Infinite. They're worried about points, basically. Points seem to be the most important part if you are a more controlling Zabu strategy. You need to be able to play to the board on the final turns of the game. So we have some good ways of doing that in this deck. Sunspot and Armor is probably the best early duo for a Zabu deck at the moment, in my opinion. Especially if you're looking for points and don't have a strong early curve. If you're looking to minimize space, not on 4-cost cards, but you want to be able to contribute points to the board early, this seems like the perfect way of doing that. It also helps that Armor was obviously very good into Altar of Death right now, which is a great reason to be playing it as well. Dracula and Jubilee are the high roll cards in this case. If you have Zabu and both of these in your hand, you should be pretty safe to snap. It should be quite hard for you to lose most of your games. But Sandman and Shang-Chi exist here as the shutdown cards. They're here to cover the alternative play patterns from other Zabu players and other decks that you expect to be playing against. Things like Silver Surfer, Dino, the Shuri decks, Darkhawk. These two cards help you have game against all of those strategies with a concise, small package that both happen to be 4-cost cards that are very good with Zabu, something I think a lot of people are hoping for. Omega Red is a super cool inclusion here, and it definitely helps you fight for locations you can't play on normally, and it can also just drive your opponents nuts. Nothing wrong with just stacking up Red Skull and Magneto behind it and hoping to win 2 lanes that way. Red Skull obviously exists mostly to be discarded to Dracula, but can often support Shang-Chi at a time of need, and is also just great when you choose to play Sandman, so that you are the one playing the majority of stats on the final turns of these games. Magneto is here as another card that is solid to discard to Dracula, but is often referred to as the best 6-cost card in the game right now. It helps you out a ton in the mirror matches. It does a great job at supporting Omega Red by dragging other cards out of the lane Omega Red is in, and overall is just an incredibly well-statted body. The Infinite here, of course, mostly to discard to Dracula, and sometimes you will skip turn 5 to play it next to your Omega Red to guarantee that it will be turned on. Just keep your eyes open for Leader if that's the play pattern that you're looking for. Last but not least, America Chavez does find itself in this deck mostly for consistency reasons. Zabu on turn 3 is good, and you're looking to have that happen as much as you can. Going to take a few games with this one today and show you exactly how it plays, and hopefully we have a good time laddering up a little bit with it. If you have enjoyed this kind of content, do make sure you subscribe to the channel for me. Press the buttons down below, like, subscribe, leave a comment, keep the algorithm happy. Really does me a huge favour in the long run. With all that said, let's get into the games and see what this one can do on the Marvel Snap ladder. Alright, let's get started with this one. We did actually play it a little bit on stream last night, which was great. I actually had a great time learning a bit about how this works in the live environment with everyone watching me. So if you want to see more gameplay of this, go check out that stream. It was a lot of fun to play it and grind a little bit. This hand looks great, and I imagine we're going to be snapping because we have Zabu, Jubilee, and Dracula, so should be pretty easy for us to just snap on 2 here, assuming the next location isn't terrible for us. So opponent on some Patriot-y goodness by the looks of it. Grand Central is probably fine for this deck, so I'm going to snap, see if we can't play for some more cubes, and then go Zabu into some 4s and get the wheels spinning. Don't really mind giving a Jubilee to a Patriot player for the most part. Should be largely unproblematic. Space Throne is interesting. Good chance we put Dracula over there, actually. Try and secure the Red Skull, make sure that we can't get Shang-Chi'd in the Space Throne. Tends to be the way that I like to go. Space Throne also not a good location for Patriot. We do have to be a bit careful here going with the Dracula, though, if we choose to do that, because opponent can just play into Machine World and fill our hand with crap. Yeah, maybe we aren't playing the Dracula over there. Maybe we are just looking to Dracula mid instead. I think I'm kind of game to do that. We'll probably end up red skulling or magnetoing into the Space Throne. But normally I would definitely Dracula into the Space Throne here, I think. But unfortunately, Machine World thinks that's probably a bit of a bad idea, given that we're likely going to discard a Patriot that way. Opponent with Mission Sinister. Jubilee looking for some goodies. Finds an Infinite. We take those. That is very much how we drew it up. So our hand is much more full than normal, courtesy of Machine World doing what it does. I think I'm just red skulling the Space Throne here. Don't really see a reason to not do this. We even pull the Magneto into the middle. Opponent pulls the Jubilee we gave them. I think we are... There we go. Perfect start with this one. Zabu showing you exactly what it is that Zabu does. We go again. Got a mission to pick up in the meantime. Playing 4-cost cards somewhat surprisingly easy with a deck like this. Let's see if we can keep this up. This deck's very sweet, and it's very cool for me to be able to see people using other 4-cost cards with Zabu that aren't just Darkhawk and, you know, Jessica Jones and this kind of stuff. Like, Sandman and Omega make for some very interesting inclusions. Opponent with the Hood. Sure. We're going to try and stay out of the Vibranium Mines until after we've played Jubilee. We are not doing a lot here early this time, though. Opponent with the Carnage. Looking for the Kitty Cat. Kitty Cat found. Space taken up by Central Park, though, which is a little unfortunate. We will likely be snapping here, in which case. Excuse me, do apologise. You may have noticed, but I am full of the cold right now. And sadly, content doesn't stop just because HowlingMines is ill. So you'll have to bear with the odd sniffle. I do apologise. Okay, so card effects work before location effects, so I don't mind playing Jubilee into Vibranium Mines and seeing where we land. When it goes Demon and Sunspot, they are filling up on Vibranium in their deck. We're going to hit a Sandman. That should be pretty good for us. It makes this Dracula a little bit awkward, though. Good chance we end up having to win a 50-50. We find the armor. So, part of me wants to just try and keep the big things in my hand here. Try and guarantee the Dracula win. Opponent's hand should hopefully be full of Vibranium now. I think I'm doing this and getting 5 stats over here. And looking to try and get as close to a decent 50... Oh, never mind. Well, now I guess we're just in great shape. Unfortunately, we don't kill the Doc because my opponent pulled the armor as well. But now we're just like Chavez and Red Skull, and we can choose which one we want to play. And I think, realistically, I'm fine to just like Chavez here and guarantee the Red Skull on the side. Opponent is out of here. Not sure we were winning that one without the timely Dr. Octopus from the opponent. Things got a little awkward with pulling the Sandman off the Jubilee there, but it did potentially incentivize our opponent to go for that Dr. Octopus. So maybe that was a good thing overall. Good little start here. No Zabu for us, but we do have Sunspot into armor. Sadly, we're not the best at playing into Sanctum Sanctorium, though. And we have a Sunspot in the Altar of Death. I will be turning this off. It's tempting to try and just like leave this here, but all it takes is my opponent to be playing Bucky Barnes or Deadpool or something, and we'll wish that we armored it instead of trying to let Sunspot win it by itself. Opponent also went for the armor trick in this case, so both kind of thinking the same thing. Elysium. Well, that makes for a turn 3 Jubilee pretty comfortably. This might very well be one of the non-Zabu games where we just play like a big zoo deck. Show me what you got, Jubilee. Finds me Omega Red. Think we might have a plan. Find it with the Shuri. I hope they play the big thing in Elysium, because I would like to Shang-Chi it. So I think I'm going to Red Skull the Omega Red lane. I might skip 5, I might not. I'm not sure. Really depends on what they play from the Shuri. If it's Vision, we just have to accept that we don't beat Vision into Sanctum Sanctorium. It is a 30 power Red Skull. Well, that we are not skipping 5 for. That we are just going to Shang-Chi. Because I would like that to be dead. To be honest. I'm not massively fussy, but I would like the Red Skull to be dead. Opponent can Taskmaster here in theory, but hopefully we're able to win Sanctum Sanctorium courtesy of Omega Red if they play it mid. Yeah, okay, so we're going to be looking to win Sanctum Sanctorium with our Omega Red now. That is going to be much the plan, I think. And we will just Dracula here for the most stats. We do kind of need Omega Red to carry us here, otherwise we are not going to be winning this game. Opponent did stick it out, so I'm assuming they have a plan. That is indeed a plan. We are not going to be winning that one. Maximus makes Dracula look very, very silly too. And there you go. That is a way that you counteract this deck and take some cubes off me in exchange. But a very interesting game nonetheless. And I think one that you are right to snap and right to play out when all is said and done. Yeah, I think this deck is pretty sweet. I would like to play against the Surfer decks a little more, see how the Sandman holds up against those decks, just because I haven't had the chance of bumping into too many of them. But I do think this is a really sweet design by Den. I think he's nailed it on the head that points are what matters with Zabu, and at that point the only thing you're scared about is your opponent's points. So giving yourself the ability to fight over those points on your 4 drops while progressing your board with your endgame seems really strong to me, and I'd be very excited to see more of this kind of style of deck going forward. If you haven't already, please do consider subscribing to the channel. It would be very cool to see you for more things Marvel Snap in the future. It's very much appreciated, all the love and support we're getting here at Marvel Snap Zone. But until next time, I am HowlingMines, you're amazing, and this has been Marvel Snap Zone. Take care, have a good one.